Welcome back. Getting therapy when you or your family needs it. It can be confusing where to start, how to begin. Dr. Martha Durham is here with us to take us through like a therapy one-on-one course this morning, how you should get started and some things you should take into consideration when you're doing that to take care of your mental health. Right. Dr. Durham, good to see you.
It's good to see y'all.
Yeah.
Being here.
You've been a therapist for what, 20 years almost?
A long time. Licensed since 2004 and seeing clients 3 years before that under supervision.
What percentage of your clients are children?
It really varies. Sometimes half and half, sometimes more kids, sometimes more adults. Sometimes you want to kind of switch up what you're doing, so it depends. But I see a lot of kids.
Do kids come alone or usually with a parent?
Well,
or
so
do you suggest one of those?
I'm really glad you said that. One of the most important things that needs to happen is the therapist has to respect the parent and the parent's authority, and unless there's something going on. And generally people walking in for therapy with their kids are not abusive, they're not neglectful, and so it's my job to honor the parent and to honor the family. So yes, you should come in and you should be invited in, and I like to talk to the parent almost every session. One thing I do though is, so even kids need some idea that there's confidentiality.
Sure.
But when I sit with parents, I will say, I need to know what your non-negotiables are. If they say this, this, or this, I'm going to tell you because you've told me these are non-negotiables. If it's smoking cigarettes, whatever it is. Because I'm a parent and I want to know some things, but the kid also knows that.
Right.
I'll say, if you say these things to me, we got to tell mom and dad.
Yeah, and there needs to be some of those boundaries because there's some things that a child won't say if the parent is there, right?
Heck yeah.
And there may be some things in there that may be valuable to a therapist and to the child.
Heck yeah.
So it's important to be able to do that.
I bet social media plays a role in children's problems.
Yeah.
It's so depressing. I work really hard to tell people, please stop the social comparison. Everybody that's posting stuff, they're posting their very best stuff. They have bad days, they have zits, which is, that's pimples or acne for y'all who aren't old like me.
It's a highlight reel, only the good stuff that you see, right?
Yes, I love when a person posts the real stuff.
Yeah.
Because then you know, okay, that's
and
real
it's
life.
messy. The real stuff is
messy. It's messy, but there's all this social comparison, and then you see who's going to parties and you're not invited, and I prefer kids to stay away as much as possible. Honestly.
And let's talk about adults too, because I think I'm going through this, I'm going to be transparent, going through the therapy thing right now myself. And I think people are talking about that a bit more, and it's something that everyone should go through. Yeah. Unpacking the stuff that's been packed away for a long time. At a certain point, you need to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to find a therapist.
Okay, so this applies to everybody. Kids, families, and individuals, adults, and children, okay? The number one thing is make sure the person has a license. Okay, that is very important because mental health issues, if somebody's just coming in and giving you advice and they don't know what they're doing, you can cause harm, okay? There's a huge difference between coaching and therapy. Next, you want to fit, and what I mean by that is you need to trust me, you need to feel safe that I am going to not judge you, that I am going to help you, and that I have your best interest at heart. And you can be a wonderful therapist and just not a great fit with a particular person. Like, we never get insulted. If somebody is uncomfortable, I'll be, let me find you someone else who you're more comfortable with, because my style isn't great for you.
And the great thing about when you're going through therapy too and trying to pick a therapist, you can make your case for, like, I want this person, this type of person, male or female, race.
Yes,
all of that can be a part of that.
Let me ask you this, so they'll know. Psychologists do most of the counseling in your field. Psychiatrists write the prescriptions.
Yes, so a psychiatrist has a medical degree. They are a physician. A psychologist has a PhD, and we do therapy, but so do licensed clinical social workers, LPCs, which is the master's level of psychology. I'm a PhD, they would have masters, and licensed marriage and family therapists all do therapy.
You don't rule out ministers, do you?
So there's Masters of Divinity who also have a mental health license. So there's pastoral counseling, and they have a mental health license. Christian counseling is not necessarily with a mental health license. And, transparency, I'm a Christian. I don't impose that on anybody. I value everybody and what they believe. But if you're going to Christian counseling, you need to understand they don't have the education in mental health help. So Be careful
and
there.
also you need to like know that if that's the type of approach you would like.
Yes.
Because that's another thing that you don't want to go into it and you're not necessarily, you may not be a believer.
Right.
And this person is talking about that a lot, then it kind of turns you away, which.
And
Absolutely.
you're talking about a good fit between a therapist and a client.
Yes.
But you guys, you kind of want a second opinion. In other words, a therapist even may not fit the kid or the adult.
Right.
So go elsewhere.
Yes, absolutely. And if any therapist gives you a hard time about them, they need some training,
Yeah.
right. About that kind of thing. We want you to get help. I want you to get help. And if it's not with me, that's absolutely fine because I want you to get help.
Yeah.
And there are different styles. Like I'm very directive. I'm myself. I try to be super genuine, which causes somebody to trust me. But that might be too much for somebody. They may need somebody who's more subtle. I'm not subtle. Stuff like that. So that's super important.
Well, we think you're the best.
Thank you.
Dr.
We
Martha.
I think
you're
y'all
the
are the best.
Well, tell them where you're located.
I'm at 702 Pettigrew, which is near Bon Secours or the Well. Is it called the Wellness?
Well.
The Wellness Arena, yes. And I used to be on North Main Street, so I kept my name even though I moved. So it's North
It's
Main
okay, we won't
Counseling.
hold it
We'll
against you.
find you.
Is there an
Yes.
age that you should be thinking about therapy?
I think
Or is it situational? Like
I think it's situational, and that give me 1 second because this is really important. Sometimes people come in and they think they have a mental health issue, and what they really have is something going on in their world that causes a situational symptom. And so it's really important to take the time with somebody to figure out what's going on in their background so you can say, hey, mom and dad, it's this stress at school, or hey, it's not ADHD, it's this. So that does take some time to figure that stuff out.
So every situation is
Every-
different, but make sure
It
you're
is.
comfortable with the person that you're
Yes.
talking to.
Yes.
That's why we call her the doctor.
She knows things.
She knows stuff.
I know a few things.
Thank you,
thank you,
Dr.
Doc.
Durham.
It's
We
great to
appreciate
see
it.
y'all.
Good to see you too.